call this July 18th regular session of the Oconee County Board of Education to order. First thing we need to do is approve the agenda. We need a motion.
So moved.
Mr. Bagley,
Second.
second Mr. Ransom, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Next, the board will vote on the June 6th regular session minutes and the June 21st special session minutes. We'll need a motion to approve. Ms. Parrish?
Second.
Second, Mr. Bagley, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Next, we have the Superintendents Report. Dr. Branch.
Thank you, Ms. Argo. Thank you, board members. Excited to be with you tonight. It's been a busy summer, and we still, by my count, have about 16 days before we welcome our students back. But we have our teachers coming back pretty soon, and we have lots of work to get accomplished in between now and then. And so I know our district leaders and principals have been working very hard to prepare for that August 3rd start. Just a couple of key individuals we want to remind the board. I think we've done introductions, but I'll just point out again that we do have several new principals and new principals at new locations. We have Dr. Catherine Brown in Collin Ferry. Keith Carter is our new principal at North Oconee. Shelby Hilly is at Oconee Primary. Sarah Johnson will be the principal at Rocky Branch this year. Matt Stevens at Oconee Middle. And then we have Tony McCullers, who was principal at Collin Ferry. Of course, Tony's joined us as Director of Assessment and School Improvement. And then Andrea Pender, who was an assistant principal for us at Malcolm Bridge Elementary and has been in the district office before, and another systems joined us as Director of Secondary Education. So we welcome those leaders and appreciate the contributions that we know they'll continue to make to the system. A couple other things I want to point out. We do have Meet the Teacher on August the 1st. You'll recall a couple years ago we split these items out into kind of more manageable time frames for both parents, teachers, and students. That seemed to go really well, and so our leaders throughout the district asked us to keep doing that along with our parents and students. And so you'll see that broken out by primary, middle, and high. By alpha, of course, if there are families that have conflicts, then we'll work with those families individually and ensure that they get what they need. As I mentioned, school does start on August the 3rd, and we're excited to welcome our students and staff at that point. That is our traditional first Wednesday in August start that we've been doing for over a decade at this point. Last thing I have for my report is just a reminder that tonight we do need the board to approve your local school board training plan for 22-23. At this point, all board members are considered veteran board members, so you need 9 hours of training. And so we have outlined how we would obtain those 9 hours. And of course, we can be flexible in that and change that if something comes up. But we do need to approve that for us to send forward tonight at some point. That concludes Superintendent's Report, unless there are questions.
Thank you, Dr. Branch. Next is presentations and discussions. First is Teaching and Learning Report. Dr. Susan Stanson.
Good evening, board members. The July 2022 Teaching and Learning Report contains 3 items of information and 4 action items. The first item of information is Innovation Oconee. On June 2nd, the 3rd annual Innovation Oconee took place at North Oconee High School. This event provided an opportunity for new and returning teachers to learn from our very own Oconee experts. Dr. Deborah Harden was the keynote speaker, welcoming everyone and kicking off the event. There were over 70 Oconee teachers, ITS, and administrators present, with 25 teachers presenting on technology and effective instructional practices. A special thank you to Jennifer Adams, Director of Elementary Education, and Ryan White, Chief Technology Officer, and his staff for their efforts to ensure a successful event. The second item of information is our ESOL Summer Science Discovery Camp. ESOL Summer Science Discovery Camp was held May 31st through June 9th at Rocky Branch Elementary School. 35 upcoming 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade ESOL students from across the district spent the week exploring rocks and minerals, the weather and water cycle, and force and motion. Parents were invited on the final day of camp for the students to show off their new knowledge and skills. Beth Parks, Director of CTAE and Federal Programs, deserves a huge thank you for her hard work in making this opportunity possible for our students. Board members, as you are aware, we review our regulations and policies annually. The next few items will be updates in these areas. I will pause after each of these to address any questions you may have. The first one is our third item of information, Board Regulation JRB-R1, Parents' Bill of Rights. Board Regulation JRB-R1, Parents' Bill of Rights, has been created to reflect the requirements within House Bill 1178. House Bill 1178 codified into law several practices that we are already doing, including allowing parents to access their students' records, giving parents the right to review instructional materials, providing them with the ability to opt their child out of photographs and videos, and allowing them to opt their child out of programs such as sex education. Any questions about that?
Any questions?
Okay. The first action item for the July Board of Education meeting is regarding Board Policy IDB, Health and Physical Education. As a reminder, Board Policy IDB, Health and Physical Education, was placed on the table for public review and comment following the June 6, 2022 board meeting. After placing this on the table, we did not receive any comments or feedback. The superintendent's recommendation is for the Board of Education to approve rescinding this policy and following the updated State Board Policy 160-4-2-.12, which reflects the new health instruction requirements in House Bill 287. These new requirements include vaping and human trafficking instruction in grades 6 through 12. The second action item for the July Board of Education meeting is regarding Board Policy IEDA, Unstructured Break Time. Board Policy IEDA, Unstructured Break Time, has been revised to reflect the requirements within House Bill 1283. This new law shifts from allowing to requiring. This now requires recess in grades K through 5, which is already a practice in Oconee County, and allows for an unstructured break in grades 6 through 8 at the discretion of the principal. Our middle school principals have scheduled a 10-minute break following lunch. The superintendent's recommendation is for the Board of Education to approve placing policy IEDA, unstructured break time, on the table for public comment at the July 18, 2022 board meeting.
Questions?
Okay. The third action item for the July Board of Education meeting is Board Policy IKBB, Divisive Concepts Complaint Resolution Process. Board Policy IKBB, Divisive Concepts Complaint Resolution Process, has been created to reflect the requirements within House Bill 1084. This policy outlines the definition of what would be considered a divisive concept and then the process for resolving an issue if one comes up regarding these topics. The superintendent's recommendation is for the Board of Education to approve placing Board Policy IKBB, Divisive Concepts Complaint Resolution Process, on the table for public comment at the July 18, 2022 board meeting.
No questions?
All right, the fourth action item for the July Board of Education meeting is Board Policy IKBC, Material Harmful to Minors Complaint Resolution Process. Board Policy IKBC, Material Harmful to Minors Complaint Resolution Process, has been created to reflect the requirements within Senate Bill 226. Senate Bill 226 required the creation of a policy to address complaints about books containing explicit material as a whole. The superintendent's recommendation is for the Board of Education to approve placing Board Policy IKBC, Material Harmful to Minors Complaint Resolution Process, on the table for public comment at the July 18, 2022 board meeting. And that concludes my report unless there are any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have technology. Mr. Ryan White.
Good evening. The Oconee County Schools Division of Technology Services, July 18th, 2022 Board of Education report contains 2 items of information and no action items. The first item of information is an update on audio enhancement. Oconee County Schools Board of Education approved audio enhancement at the April 2022 Board of Education regular session. Audio enhancement installation of classroom audio and the new intercom is near completion at Oconee County Primary School and Oconee County Elementary School. Configuration of these systems is underway in order to be ready for the new school year. Audio enhancement will allow for enhanced classroom audio for teachers and students, in addition to a new intercom system inside and outside both schools. The second item of information is an update on our firewall. Oconee County Schools Board of Education approved new firewalls at the January 2022 Board of Education regular session. We are scheduled to complete the installation of this equipment on the evening of July 22nd. The new firewall will allow for increased security and capacity as our student population and number of devices grows. This concludes the Division of Technology Services report, unless there are any other questions.
Any questions?
I'm going, Ryan, is this the audio enhancement that this needs to the Dove Creek?
Yes, sir. So this has the lanyard, so when teachers talking to it, it comes out the ceiling speakers,
Okay,
and the intercoms were also replaced as part of this project.
okay, so we got Oconee Preschool and Elementary here. What about Rocky Branch and Cotton Ridge Elementary? Where are we with that?
So we are looking at what it would take to do the whole district, but we want to come back to you with feedback from teachers, front office staffs, and administrators. This system's a little bit different than what we have at Dove Creek because of the intercom piece. That way we can bring all that to you at once.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is operations. Mr. Brock Toole.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. The Oconee County Schools Operation Division July Board of Education report contains 2 items of information and 2 action items. The first item of information is our energy report, and the May energy report shows an on-trend increase in usage over April. Our second item of information is our construction update. We'll call for everything up, and then we'll do the action items after.
Hello. It has been a very busy summer, and so we've got a lot of work done. In Collin Ferry, the building is finished. We're moving furniture in this week and next. The belongings for most of the teachers are already in the spaces, so we're ready to go at Collin Ferry. Households. The picture I showed last time showed a lot of work to be done, and a tremendous amount has been accomplished. They're putting the finishing touches on this week. The final cleaning is going on. There's actually been a tremendous amount of work since this picture was taken Thursday. The landscaping is complete now. And like I said, they're doing the final cleaning on the building. And some furniture arrived today. So again, the furniture is arriving next week. And we're working with Dr. Jennifer Whitaker on making arrangements to move belongings. Dove Creek, I was very happy that last week when I went out and actually saw steel coming up out of the ground. The weather, again, is being a challenge. These afternoon rains is a real challenge for us from them dealing with the mud and site conditions. However, since we actually have a concrete surface to work out off of now, they're making a good bit of progress, and materials are coming in, and we're really excited to see a structure taking shape.
Has concrete been an issue?
It's very much been an issue.
Friday
before last, we did pull 495 yards, though.
they gave you that much.
Yeah, it was a big day.
Usually they're limited to about 250, 300 yards a day.
It's been a real challenge for us, but it was a huge day. It was a day of relief and celebration because it actually happened.
Yeah.
And then when I went out Monday, we saw steel going up, so it was a really great thing. This is a picture of the primary school, before on the left and after on the right. thanks to Jennifer Dalton at the primary school to help me with these photographs, because I was trying to take a very recent, a current photo for today, and there's stuff everywhere. There are boxes everywhere, but they are putting the finishing touches on this week. If you can look past the stuff, it's really taking a lot of shape and it looks great. So we're very excited to get people moving back in, and the plan is for the contractor to be out of the way this week and people start moving back into their spaces next week.
What type of flooring is that?
It's a rubber gymnasium flooring. It's got a padded cushion on it so to make it comfortable to sit on or play on or jump on. It's a lot nicer than carpet.
It looks like it.
And that gymnasium is not as big as a full-size gymnasium that would take a full court, but we did provide the striping for a half court of play. So it turned out really nicely. And thanks to Ryan and his team for all the work with the audio enhancement, the data issues, and keeping the faculty and staff with internet through the summer as we turn off air conditioning, shut off power. It's been a real challenge, but we've had a great partnership. Any questions?
Thank you.
We have two action items as stated earlier. The first action item is Oconee County and Oconee County High School and North Oconee High paving projects. The attachment should be on there as well, but it's the superintendent's recommendations for the Board of Education to approve All About Asphalt to pave the bus drop-off and turnaround at Oconee County High School for a base bid of $261,783. Smith and Company Incorporated to pave the existing gravel lot at North Oconee High for a base bid of $140,826. The total cost of both paving projects is $402,609 to be funded by general fund and ELOS dollars. The second action item is surplus buses. And it's the superintendent's recommendations for the Board of Education to approve the following surplus vehicles. You can see there 201 Bluebirds to surplus. Any questions?
Yeah, the gravel parking lot at Norfolk County, which one is that? Is that down by the tennis courts, or is that up out in front of the media center?
It's out right there in front of the Performing Arts Center where you come in the old gravel lot we used to do the bonfire.
Are they gonna pave that entire
Yes,
parking lot, everything that's got curb and gutter now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Question,
Yes, ma'am.
this is gonna be ready by the start of school?
Yes, ma'am. That's our intent.
Whoa. Pray for good weather.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Thank you. Human Resources, Dr. Brooke Whitmire.
Thank you, Ms. Argo. Good evening, everyone. Human Resources has two brief items of information for you this evening. The first has to do with hiring for the coming school year, and as you all know, it has been a busy hiring season, as you've seen in each board meeting, including tonight. We'll be bringing you some more recommendations, but I wanted to give you a brief update before bringing you some more in-depth information in the next couple of board meetings over the next couple of months. So far this year, we have hired as an organization with your approval for employees beginning this fiscal year, 105 new employees. Of course, those aren't new positions. Some of them are, the majority of those are replacement positions. Of that 105, I wanted you to know that 77 of those are certified employees and 28 are classified. Of the 77 certified, 72 are teachers. So we've got a bevy of new folks coming to join us, and I want to tell you that our principals and the folks in my office have done a fantastic job in really unusual circumstances with such a busy hiring season taking place, and again, more to come for sure. Second item of information that I wanted to bring to your attention is our biometric screenings, and this is something that we've done over the last number of years and did again this year, back last month on 2 different days. We hosted biometric screenings, and over 120 current employees and a good number of retirees and spouses came and did their biometric screenings. This gives those folks, myself included, the opportunity to come and get a physical and get incentives toward their health insurance program. It's very convenient, and it's something that's become very popular for our people. But a lot of work that goes on in putting it on. I want to especially thank Justin Cofer and Suzanne Graves in our office for doing that this year for a great success. Unless there are any questions, that'll conclude the human resources report.
Any questions? Thank you. Next is Business Services, Ms. Liz Harlow.
Good evening, board members. Business Services has 6 items of information and 1 action item for tonight's board meeting. The first item of information is the June cash balance report. The second item of information is the ELOS collections report. The rolling average is 16% over the previous year, and this month's collections are nearly 39% over the previous period last year. The next item of information is the board report for ELOS 5, and as every month, the revenues and expenses have been updated as of June 30th. The next item of information is the board report for ELOS 6, and revenues and expenses have been updated as of June 30th. The fourth item of information is the budget amendment for FY22. I have good news. Our FY22 revenue will grow $7.1 million more than we anticipated due to student enrollment growth, local tax revenue, and restoration of the austerity cut. Additionally, we were able to operate within our adopted budget for expenditures. And the last item of information is an update on the tax digest. The required hearing dates and times are July 25th, 1 at 9 a.m. and 1 at 6 p.m. And the third hearing will be August 1st at 5:30 p.m. Our tentative millage rate is 16.25 mils, a decrease of 0.25 mils from last year, but due to the growth in the tax digest, we are required to have hearings. The dates and times will satisfy all requirements for the adoption of the final millage rate at the August 1st board meeting. And Business Services has 1 action item for tonight's board meeting, which is the FY22 budget amendment as reported in the 4th information item. And I ask that the superintendent recommend approval of the FY22 budget amendment. And that concludes my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Thank you. Next is Associate Superintendents Report, Dr. Dallas LaDuff.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Argo, I want to update the board. Dallas is attending some meetings for us with the Secretary of Education of the United States, with several other district leaders from around the United States. So he's not here with us tonight, and Anissa is attending the National PR convention or conference to receive the award for being one of the top 4 PR individuals in the United States, as well as presenting on some work. So we did have some information that we thought was relevant for them to share tonight, so they have prepared their presentation via video, something new we've given a shot. We'll love to have your feedback on that. So what we'll do is play that information now. I'll try to answer any questions you have. If we can't answer those, I'll note those. We'll certainly get that information back to you. So.
Evening. The Student Services July Board of Education report contains 2 items of information and 2 action items. The first item of information is a school nutrition update. The USDA previously provided flexibility for the seamless summer meal program that allows schools to provide meals at no cost for every student. This flexibility is no longer being provided, and Oconee County Schools will return to the traditional free and reduced lunch model. I've embedded the 22-23 meal prices in the Student Services report for you to review. The only change from the 2019-2020 school year is the adult breakfast price increased by 30 cents, the adult lunch price increased by 40 cents. The reason for this adjustment in the adult meal prices is that federal guidelines require our meal prices to be sufficient to ensure federal funds are not supplanting paid meal prices. While our adult meal prices are being adjusted, our student meal prices will remain the same as in previous years. The second item of information is our student code of conduct. The student code of conduct was previously approved by the board. We are not recommending any changes for this school year. The student code of conduct can be found on our district website. The first action item is our school nutrition program FY23 bids. The school nutrition department is a member of the Georgia Educational Cooperative. The cooperative prepares all requirements of each bid when the bid is presented to the group for approval. The superintendent's recommendation is to approve the school nutrition program FY23 bids. The second action item is a FFA field trip. All 4 of our secondary schools will be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana to participate in the National FFA Convention. The superintendent's recommendation is to approve that field trip as presented. This concludes the student services report.
The Oconee County Schools Communications July 18th, 2022 Board of Education report contains one item of information. The item of information is Remind. Based on consistent feedback from all 11 schools, Oconee County Schools will now utilize the professional version of Remind as a direct communication tool beginning this fall. Remind allows individuals to opt in or opt out of communication, and this tool will be used at the classroom, club, extracurricular, athletic, and school levels. Communication and technology are working together on the rollout.
So that'll conclude the Associate Superintendent's report. Certainly if there's questions, I can attempt to answer those.
Will Remind be the only thing used now, like other people that are using other things, will that phase out?
We're going to try to streamline that as much as possible and drive our teachers and coaches to the Remind app.
Let them know we missed their smiling faces, but that was good.
Well, some of the principals were texting that they like that version better. So.
Which one?
No questions.
I didn't know I said it out loud.
Okay, next we have communications to the board. Do we have anyone signed up? We don't. Then we will move to action items. Dr. Branch.
Yes, ma'am. And if it pleases the board, we can take all of the board policies as one.
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll do board policy IDB, health and physical education, board policy IEDA, unstructured break times, board policy IKBB, divisive concepts, complaint resolution process, and board policy IKBC, material harmful to minors complaint resolution process. All 4 of those will recommend to be placed on the table for review until the next board.
We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Ransom.
Second.
Second, Ms. Parrish. All in favor? Passes 4-0.
I think the first policy is not to be placed on the table.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I
And what was that?
apologize.
First
Okay,
one.
yes, thank you. Let's do that again, board members, if you can. I apologize. Board policy IDB, health and physical education, we're going to recommend rescinding that policy at this time. So we need a motion for that.
We need a motion to approve.
So
Mr. Ransom. Mr. Bagley. All in favor?
Okay, and just for clarity, we will then go IEDA, IKBB, and IKBC. We are recommending those be placed on the table. Thank you.
Yes.
So we'll need to do that again as well.
Ms. Parrish.
second.
Mr. Ransom. All in favor? That passes 4-0.
Thank you. Trying to save us time, but I think I cost us time. Apologies. Yeah, we've got quite a few policies today. School nutrition program FY23 bids, we would recommend those be approved as presented.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Bagley.
Second.
Second, Mr. Ransom. All in favor? Passes 4-0.
Okay, up next is the field trip for 4 secondary schools to Indiana for FFA. We would recommend that be approved as presented.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Ransom.
Second.
Second, Mr. Bagley. All in favor? Passes 4-0.
Okay, up next is the Oconee County High Schools and North Oconee High School paving project. We would recommend that project be approved as presented for a total of $402,609.
We need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Bagley,
Second.
Ms. Parrish, all in favor? Passes 4-0.
All right, almost home. Up next, surplus buses. We would recommend surplusing the buses as presented.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Ms. Parrish,
Second.
Mr. Bagley, all in favor? Passes 4-0.
All right, if you like your local training plan that's been laid out, we would recommend approval as presented.
Need a motion to approve.
I have one question about that. So this will carry us through the 23 year
Yes, this is 22-23 year.
with the homecoming board member at the end of they get selected in November. Have to we have 5 veteran board members. Will there be a new training for that board member?
Yeah, we'll have to ensure that that new board member gets at least 15 hours. But until they're determined, we just submit it this way.
So moved.
Mr. Ransom,
Second.
second, Mr. Bagley, all in favor? Passes 4-0.
Final recommendation of approval is the 22 budget amendment. We recommend that good news be approved as presented.
So moved.
Mr. Bagley,
Second.
Ms. Parrish, all in favor? Passes 4-0. Next, we have a communication regarding agenda items, if anyone has anything they'd like to say. And we'll move on. We do have a need to go into executive session and need a motion to do so.
And I'll make a motion that the board will adjourn to executive session to discuss or deliberate upon personnel matters as described on the affidavit to be attached to the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Parrish.
Second.
Second, Mr. Ransom, all in favor? Passes 4-0.